Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's Sunday evening as I'm recording this video. And, as you think about the week that just passed and all the things that happened, it's like so much stuff has been swirling around in my brain that I thought I'd just share some of the news stories that I thought were interesting this week. Sunday night wrap up, we could call it. Okay, here's one thing that I thought was interesting is SNC 2.0. Now, you know what I mean? We're doing it again. So you might remember when the SNC Lavalin scandal happened, that basically this company that manufactures a lot of things, among some of the things is light rail and trains. Isn't that a strange coincidence? But they had been busted for sort of bribing Gaddafi in Libya to to um, to garner a big deal for them, and because they were kind of doing this. Well, bribery is not a good thing in business. And Trudeau wanted them to sort of, okay, let's just like brush this under the rug. So he asked the then Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould to sort of let's just can we make this disappear? And she's like, no, we can't.
Ahead with the prosecution, she was demoted, and a month later, she resigned.
And so then that caused a big scandal. But now there's something that's been reopened from Democracy Watch. Democracy Watch is applying to task the Ontario Court of Justice to approve private prosecution against the Trudeau government on allegations of obstruction of justice and breach of trust. The decision to file the application comes in response to newly surfaced documents that the former Attorney General, Jody Wilson-Raybould, urged the RCMP to broaden the scope of their SNC Lavalin investigation. Democracy Watch obtained a transcription of the private interview between Wilson-Raybould and the RCMP in September 2019 via an access to information request initially filed by Blacklock's reporter. So I hope that there's some success with that. But lo and behold, I was watching another podcaster, Portuguese Pie, and he brought to my attention this press conference that Trudeau and Anita Anand announcing light rail. And another thing, if you Google SNC Lavalin, they have changed their name. But let's have a look at this press conference first.
Successor, if there's a next government, let's say the Conservatives won't be able, or it won't be easy for them to stop the project.
Listen, this high-speed rail in this country was always going to be a project that would be take long enough to build that it would cover multiple governments at all different orders of government.
Basically, whether these two are obviously not supposed to be in power fairly soon, but he's trying to say that, look, this is a long spanning thing. Other governments are going to take this on board and support it.
From municipal to provincial to federal. And it takes a will and a determination by a government to move forward and lock in this progress. That's exactly what we're doing now with contracts signed to build this project.
Now, I don't travel from Quebec City to Toronto. I would like to know if people want this, if this is something that people have been asking for years. I think high-speed rail is cool. I think it creates jobs and it can boost the economy. But is this something that the people want and need? And is this where our tax money should be going? And let me know in the comments. Is this going to affect air travel and Air Canada? Well, whatever. Who cares? I don't like Air Canada, but
in a way that will be,
not that I don't like them as a company. I always find their air stewardesses are really mean and grouchy. Not all of them, but a little bit.
They are for Canadians. Obviously, future governments will make their determinations about how they invest, but this investment in Canadians, which starts right now, is going to be very difficult to turn back on.
Okay, Anita's going to say a couple of things. Let's see what we hardly hear her speak, but let her rip.
Be signed in the coming weeks. And the remainder of the time of the 5 years that we've been mentioning for co-development will include items like placement of tracks, placement of stations, getting the...
Mark Carney, aren't you going to need steel for that. You're not going to need steel.
Permits, ensuring that we do the consultations. So that is work that is going to be concluded on the contract side within the coming weeks, and the plan of execution will be there, as well as the funding for this government and future governments
They will fund this, whether you like it or not.
to invest in. And in fact, how could they not invest in the potential to add $35 billion per year?
Yeah, how much is it going to cost you? You're going to add 35 billion when? And what are the pressing things you need to do now? How about reduce the carbon tax and make food affordable? How about that? Start there, then throw your money around for high-speed rail.
To the economy once this project is complete. So it's pretty clear that this is a policy option that should be universally accepted regardless.
Oh my
of-
God, that's what she's basically saying. You need to accept this. This is there are no options for any sort of contradictory opinions. You will accept this. But what I did find curious, and I've heard a lot of podcasters talk about SNC and this new case being opened up. I haven't heard too many people. I mean, it's quite an obvious connection. SNC Lavalin has changed their name. This high-speed rail thing is going to be called Altos. So who's the company that is gonna create this? Well, lo and behold, the company is, now let me pull this up for you, is this company here. It's called Cadence Consortium. Okay. Now, Cadence Consortium, if you go along, they'll talk about blah, 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 but they also, the Cadence team comprises CDPQ Infra, Atkins Realis, Keolis, Sistra, blah, blah, blah. They go to name a bunch of other things. Who is Atkins Realis? Everybody know, I think people know this now. Atkins Realis is what SNC Lavalin has changed their name to. You see the connections? You see kind of the sinister connections behind all this? That the very company that is going to make this high-speed rail that they're saying, you need to support this. Why would you not want to support this? Is the very same, is all in cahoots with SNC Lavalin. SNC Lavalin is now called Atkins Realis, and they're one of the companies that are going to have a hand in building this high-speed rail, whether you like it or not. So I just thought I would bring that up because there's always a connection. There's always a financial connection. And Justin Trudeau, obviously, he's got to support this bloody SNC because back in the day, if SNC closed in Quebec, that's a lot of jobs. And Quebec was such a liberal place. He's not going to get the votes. And he's still kissing their ass all these years later, despite this new investigation. It's crazy. Okay, here's the next thing that I thought was so interesting. A little bit of happy news. Okay, obviously, nobody, I mean, it's in such bloody poor taste when we boo a national anthem, right? And we got our asses kicked the last time when we booed the national anthem. But this time on Thursday night, we won. And that's nice. I mean, I'm proud of Canada for doing that. I'm not proud of the booing, but let's just take a look at this. Like the hockey, it was a big win. Go Connor McDavid. Okay, you did it. Okay, nice. We needed the win. We needed to make ourselves a little bit happy. and I think that's great. And nobody was more ecstatic than this guy, whoever this guy is. Just watch him. This was like so fun to watch.
Marner. McDavid alone in front. Scores! He scores! Connor McDavid! Connor McDavid ends it in overtime. Connor McDavid alone in front. Connor McDavid alone in front. Connor McDavid! Canada wins it in overtime in the United.
Oh God. Okay, you gotta love that enthusiasm. I love anybody who has passion like that. That is amazing. But don't boo. Come on, Canada. We are better than that. Don't you be booing anybody's anthem. I think somebody was booing somebody, a young teenage girl at one of the games. I think she was in a wheelchair and she was singing. That is in such poor taste. Get a hold of your brain. Like, don't be doing stuff like this. But that enthusiasm of that last guy, that I like. I like that. And good for Canada. Okay, good for Canada. The other thing I wanted to touch on is I did a video on this. David Eby gave all the NDP raises in November last year, but he's cutting your $1,000 grocery tax rebate. He said that he would like I got to make it easy for Canadians. Times are tough. Rustad will make you wait for a rebate, but not me. But now this is one of the platforms that he ran on, and this bugger is like, nope, sorry. Oh, Trump's tariffs are too scary, so we're not going to give you this $1,000 grocery rebate. I am not impressed with the NDP at all, and I'm getting sick and tired of every time I click on a YouTube video, I'm seeing this NDP video from Jagmeet Singh. I always click skip, so I never get to the end, but he's talking about how I worked minimum wage jobs because my dad was sick or whatever. Who cares? Who hasn't worked a minimum wage job when you're a teenager? That's the rite of passage. That's what you're supposed to do. And the minimum wage hasn't gone up that much. But come on, give me a break. But David Eby, don't forget that he did that to people in BC. Total scumbag. And, like I said in that video that I did, he knows what's going on with the crime. He knows exactly what's happening. He just plays dumb. Okay, now, one other thing. Trump. Okay, Trump. I don't know. I'm sure many of you guys have seen this, but he gave this hour-long speech somewhere, and there were various governors in the room, and you might have seen this already because this was just so fantastic. This was him going after the Maine governor, the governor of Maine, and this was about, he's like, we don't want men in women's sports. Okay, that's it. Do you get it? Is the governor of Maine here? I'll play it for you. It was so good.
An executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue because you'll never win another race. And it's just crazy. If you look at what happened with the boxing, if you look at what happened with the weightlifting numbers, where a record that hadn't been broken for 19 years got shattered. But, they put up an eighth of an ounce here, an eighth of an ounce there on this 218 pounds or whatever, LATTE. And hadn't been broken in 19 years. And then guy walks up who transitioned. He transitioned.
I think he's talking about Zuby, the podcaster Zuby. He did that as a joke, I believe. But still, he proved his point.
And he knocked out that record by about 100 pounds. That will be a record not going to be broken again in a long. So we put a ban on it. And to protect women. I mean, the women, if you watch the Olympics, you had two transitioned people that were fighting in the women's boxing. They have women's boxing category. And if you saw that, it was brutal. What happened to the Italian woman was a really good boxer. After one punch, she said, no more. I've never been hit. It was a left. It was not even it was just a left jab. She got hit so hard, she said, I can't do it. They forced her to go out. No, go out again. You'll do it. Goes out again, gets hit again. No, that's it. She didn't want to die. And it's crazy. But the NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics. Every state has a responsibility to comply with Title IX. They have an obligation, a legal obligation, and we'll be enforcing aggressively. And we're going to be protecting our citizens. We're going to protect. So just to end.
Okay, because I laughed so hard, I'm just going to recue the part again.
Well, there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Love
Every
it.
state.
Love it. Love it. Do you know how much I love that? I love that exchange. And do you know how much I love people talking like that? That's the way you got to handle these people. That's what I love about him. And that's what I love about all his staff. The press secretary, amazing, absolutely amazing. Pam Bondi, amazing. She's just like a really forthright talker. He always has these people behind them that don't. JD Vance, they don't put up with this stuff. They just hammer it down. You got to be firm, you've got to be right, and you've got to be cool. But they just, there's gone are the days of politics talk. We're not going to talk like that anymore. The way that a politician talks in like smarmy, meaningless sentences as he has people behind them, clapping. These people that he probably pays to stand behind him, like Mark Carney does. And they just talk in sentences that are meaningless sentences. When you see a leader come out and talk like that and say, you better do it. You better do it or we're cutting your funding. That's how this is going. And the thing is, whoever this woke woman is, this governor of Maine, I don't hear good things about her. But what is her argument? If you're a weightlifter, a boxer, a swimmer, a runner, why can you not accept that men are built differently than women? That is not to say that women are not great athletes, that women are not talented, that women cannot be physically strong, that women cannot do things. We can do those things. But if we're competing physically, perhaps we should compete with women, with our own body strength and upper body strength, lower body strength, with women. We're not built the same. I don't expect a man to have a baby and breastfeed. It ain't going to happen. And men are bigger than us. Men are stronger than us. Not emotionally stronger, not stronger mentally in any way. They're just physically stronger. They have more muscle. Okay. Is this a concept you don't understand? And by allowing men to weightlift and compete and swim and run track and box and do these other things in women's sports and blow away their records and knock their teeth out, how is that supporting women? You are supporting the men that have mental illness, that put a wig on and think that they are women. You want to think you're a woman? Fine. Go play with somebody else. Play in your own group. Have your own transy league or whatever you want to have. But don't mess up men and women's sports. And thank goodness Trump just said it. You better do it. You better do it or we're going to cut your funding. That's the way he's getting it done. And I like it. Okay. Thank you for watching this video, a little Sunday night recap. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for spending time with me, and I'll catch you later on in the week. Take care. Oh, and subscribe and like. That really helps. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.